Yo, what is poppin', my guys? It is your boy Ashley the Cat here with our week 2 of the APA Wi-Fi Season 2 Pickems. Now, as you can see by the overall records, me and Kyle had a pretty dead even match last week as far as our picks went. We both went right down the middle. So, hopefully, we can get some good picks this week and kind of differentiate ourselves from the pack a little bit, right? So, let's go ahead and look at our first game of the week. And by the way, I also want to throw a huge shout out again to Pickems for last time doing these slides for me. I just did all these slides and it has been the biggest pain in the ass. These are so they're beautiful slides, and because they're so good looking, they're so intricate. They've got all sorts of little different parts that go together. So when you're trying to get everything together, it is a lot of work. So again, huge thank you to Pickems for week 1 getting me hooked up with my own slides. And again, shout out to Dan for doing the slides. They're absolutely amazing. I really cannot get over them. I promise I'll quit talking about how good the slides look. But anyway, let's go ahead and pop into our first matchup of the week here. We have the Buffalo Buzzswolls versus the Sleeping Snorlax, and Kyle and I both picked the Buzzswolls this week. We can go ahead and remember to look over here and see that the Buzzswolls have Mega Lopunny, Tangrowth, Zapdos, Kyurem, Heatran, Slowking, Komala, Meloetta, Piloswine, Spiritomb, and Chinchou. And the Snorlax have Victini, Snorlax, Mamoswine, Lantern, Tapu Bulu, Mega Heracross, Venomoth, Metagross, Noivern, Rhydon, and Fortress. So I think that the Buzzswolls have the edge because I think they look a lot better currently right now. As you can see on the screen, the Sleeping Snorlax were on the receiving end of a 6-0 last week. And let me tell you, that does not do a ton for your confidence, especially going up against a team like the Buzzswolls. They have a lot of Pokemon that can do a pretty good job of walling the sweeping mons. Like, for example, Victini is very much so shut down by Heatran and Slowking even, as well as a physically defensive Zapdos can do nice work against the Victini, as well as the Snorlax has a lot of things it can go up against, but it's very scared of the Mega Lopunny. It is very scared of something like Slowking, who can just heal up in its face and probably stack Calm Minds or something like that. It's a really slow. Snorlax doesn't have a fantastic matchup this week, especially if he decides to bring something like Sleep Powder, Rocky Helmet on Tangrowth, or possibly Knockoff on Tangrowth. Lots of different options to kind of shut down the Snorlax. So I don't want to sit here and go too deep into all of these games. We got a lot of them to do, and I've been doing these slides for a while. So in short, I think that the walls that the Buzzwolves have do a very good job of holding off the offensive onslaught of the Snorlax, whereas the offensive Pokemon for the Buzzwolves take on the Snorlax fairly well. So I had to put that one in favor of the Buzzwolves. So let us go ahead and look over on the next slide. Oh, that loads really slow. Okay, so we have the Maryland Torterrapins against the Boston Beedrills. Both of us picking the Torterrapins this week. Now, this game was a little harder to call, seeing as both of these teams are coming off of a very hard loss, 5-0 in both cases. Unless I've gotten these stats wrong. I was trying to do the stats. I made my picks already before I decided to look up the stats of how everyone was doing for the week. But I was a little nervous about seeing, because I know that some of these games have been played already, so I have the spoiler room muted, and I have all sorts of stuff like that muted, but I did my best to not see. So I did take very quick glances at just the week 1 stats. So if I have some of these wrong, I am sorry. I'm trying to figure out a way to do that a little bit better without the chance of spoiling myself before I record these, because I really don't want to do that. So next up, we have the Maryland Torterrapins, as we said, versus the Boston Beedrills. The Torterrapins are bringing Tapu Fini, Excadrill, Hydreigon, Azelf, Megazord Y, Umbreon, Regirock, Bronzong, Machamp, Manectric, and Illumise. While the Boston Beedrills are bringing Mew, Infernape, Donphan, Mega Altaria, Empoleon, Alolan Raichu, Tauros, Scolipede, Zoroark, Licky, and Tangela. So, in my opinion, I think the Torterrapins take this one pretty easily. They have really good offensive pressure in like Altaria as well as Infernape. Infernape threatens a lot of this team. It can't really do a whole lot to Tapu Fini, but it can threaten Excadrill and under the right circumstances. It can't really do much to Hydreigon or Azelf, but if it does carry Stone Edge, it can do a lot of work against Mega Charizard Y. It can take out Umbreon. It can take out Regirock. If it can outspeed, which it can, obviously, very, very much so. But obviously, it's a little bit worried to be around Regirock. But we also it easily takes on Bronzong, and I really like Infernape in this matchup, especially if it has maybe a Choice Scarf set with Flare Blitz, Stone Edge, Close Combat or whatever it gets, and U-Turn. I feel like that would be a very, very good moveset for this matchup, as well as a lot of the things on these teams, he doesn't really have anything that breaks. I'm sorry, the Beedrills don't really have anything that just flat out sweeps through this team. It's going to take a lot of maneuvering and good prep and stuff to go around, whereas the Infernape kind of wreaks havoc on a lot of this team with the right set. So I think that the Maryland Torterrapins are going to grab their first win this week against the Boston Beedrills, and my main man Kyle feels the exact same way. So next, we are going to go into our Game 3 of the week, which is the Winnipeg Blue Blastoise versus the Charlotte Charizards. I didn't mean to say that weird. It's Charlotte Charizards, not Charlotte Charizards. Oh, it's late, guys. Sorry. But Kyle and I both picking the Charlotte Charizards this week. Let's go ahead and look over their rosters. We have Manaphy, Latias, Shaman, Arcanine, Buzzswole, Aromatisse, Drapion, Raichu, Uxie, Seismitoad, and Mega Steelix for the Winnipeg Blue Blastoise. And the Charlotte Charizards, God, that one is giving me a ton of trouble. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really trying to get better at this. Hopefully by week 3 or 4, I'll quit butchering everybody's names. If I butcher your name, please let me know. You don't have to put it in the comments. Just put it in the server. I really do apologize. I want to get this shit right. I'm trying to be official. I'm trying to come correct. So, the Charlotte Charizards have Mega Scizor, Milotic, Gliscor, Entei, Gengar, Thunderous Eye, Serena, Druddigon, Greninja, Claydol, and Rabombi. So, I personally like the Charizards matchup here. I think that they don't really have a whole lot that can break through some of these more defensive Pokemon. Like, Milotic is going to be a huge problem for this team unless Shaman can get rolling. But then he can always switch in something like Entei on the Shaman very easily. And I don't know, I really like the pivots that the Charizards have over the pivots that the Blastoise have. Now, don't get me wrong, the Blastoise could definitely come away with this game. They have a very, very nice offensive core with Manaphy and Latias. Well, I guess Latias can play both sides of the field, but Manaphy, Latias, Shaman, Arcanine, Buzzswole, all of these Pokemon can do good work to certain portions of this team. It's going to take really smart switching and really smart prep to take advantage of the good offensive coverage they have. Whereas the Charizards just have a little bit easier time kind of breaking through. Mons like Mega Scizor are going to be very hard to take down. Mons like Milotic are going to be very hard to take down. Gengar can do a fair bit of work against this team, taking down things like Latias as well as Shaman. And just really spamming some ghost type moves and really just putting a dent in anything that it needs to, as well as being able to run things like Thunderbolt for coverage for Manaphy or just any assortment of moves. I really, really like the matchup in favor of the Charlotte Charizards. I'm gonna have to start practicing saying that when I'm not recording, because that one is kicking my ass today. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Soviet Slowkings versus the Seattle Superiors. Now, this is the first one where we differ this week. I picked the Seattle Superiors. Kyle picked the Soviet Slowkings. And my logic behind this one is they both got very good teams. I just think that due to the fact that the Seattle Superiors have a week under their belt, like they played last week, they played week 1, whereas the Polish Elf has just come in to the league. It's not his team, he didn't draft it, so I feel like the first game with a team you didn't draft is always a really rough game, and I honestly don't see how he can overcome that, because the matchup is not super good in his favor. The Slowkings have Mega Swampert, Pelipper, Kingdra, Heliolisk, Tyrantrum, Serperior, Mimikyu, Mineshow, Klefki, Golurk, and Swellow. where the superiors have Landorus T, Alolan Ninetales, Necrozma, Cobalion, Tentacruel, Rotom Heat, Mega Houndoom, Dusknoir, Exploud, Excelgor, and Celebi. Another reason that I think that the superiors are bound to take this one home is because with smart Alolan Ninetales play, you can pretty much keep that rain off the field at all costs. That Pelipper comes in, you kind of expect a U-turn or a switch. You can go ahead and switch right into that Alolan Ninetales, and it has a type advantage against the Kingdra. It can use Freeze Dry for a 4 times effective move against Mega Swampert. I'm fairly certain it's 4 times effective. I think that's how that works. There's not really a whole lot the Heliolisk can do to it. It can set up an Aura Veil in the face of pretty much anything on his team, because he doesn't have a super strong fire type, obviously, being that he is a rain team. So I just think the superiors take this one to the bank this week. I think it's a pretty safe bet. If there were locks in this league, I would lock that my week. This would be my lock. I really think the superiors have a decent enough matchup to take advantage of a new coach with a new team. So we'll go ahead and take a look on at our next one, which is going to be the Colorado Rapidash versus the Chelsea Cloisters. Now, we both agreed on the Rapidash again on this one, even though that they are coming off of a very close 1-0 loss, whereas the Cloisters are coming off of a 5-0 sweep. But let's go ahead and look at the teams and see if that can offer a little bit of insight into why me and Kyle have both unanimously agreed that the Rapidash are taking this one to the bank. The Rapidash have Tapu Koko, Conkeldurr, Goodra, Galvantula, Mega Camerupt, Kartana, Mesprit, Slurpuff, Hawlucha, Sandslash, and Slowbro, whereas the Cloisters have Garchomp, Togekiss, Ferrothorn, Mega Blastoise, Reuniclus, Miltank, Cloyster, Alolan Marowak, Electros, Scrafty, and Nidoking. So I know Reuniclus is definitely a nice, bulky, hard to get rid of psychic type, but outside of that, I think Conkeldurr looks to have a pretty good match. I'm not sure if it gets Bullet Punch. If it does, that Togekiss becomes much less of a problem. It can run Ice Punch for Garchomp, Fire Punch for Ferrothorn. I think it gets Thunder Punch as well for Mega Blastoise. It can obviously take down Miltank very easily. With the Flame Orb set, I think it really doesn't even need all these crazy coverage moves for some of these things. It can use Earthquakes, things like that, to knock out Alolan Marowak. I think a regular fighting type move will destroy Cloyster, as well as do some good neutral damage on Scrafty. Electros doesn't really, it's neither here nor there, and Nidoking I think it can handle very well. I just think Conkeldurr has a very good matchup this week, and he has the mons to support it as well, with a great switch in being Mesprit and Goodra into some psychic into special psychic attacks, including we got Slowbro, we've got Mesprit, and we've got Goodra, which are all things you can switch into, things that can knock out Conkeldurr. And I think a lot of those get U-turn as well. I know Goodra doesn't, but I think that Mesprit gets U-turn. I know Slowbro doesn't, but anyway, I just think that the matchup is heavily in the Rapidash's favor this week, despite the absolute stellar play we've seen from the Cloisters. And as you can see, I picked against Dan last week, so he obviously proved me wrong last week. It wouldn't surprise me if he proved me wrong this week, but I have to play the cards as they lie, and I really do see the matchup in the Rapidash favor this week. And as you can tell, Kyle agrees. So we're going to move on to our next slide as I move my cat off of my desk. We have the California, oh my god, guys, I cannot read. We have the Carolina Clefables playing the Dunfermline Lanoons. Please, Jock, at me and tell me how to pronounce that. It is absolutely killing me every week, and I don't want to keep fucking it up because it's a really cool name and I like the logo a lot. I feel really bad I keep butchering the pronunciation. Please hit me up and let me know how that's actually pronounced. So, both of these teams coming off very high 5-0 wins. Allegedly, that's based on my horrible stat keeping, trying not to spoil myself. And I picked the Carolina Clefables, where Kyle picked the Dunfermline Lanoons. So, this is another game that we kind of split on. We'll take a look at the teams. The Clefables are bringing Kieran Black, Mega Gardevoir, Suicune, Crocodile, Crobat, Cofagrius, Hitmonchan, Volcarona, Omastar, Magnezone, and Chestnut, where the Lanoons are bringing Mega Gallade, Weavile, Skarmory, Haxorus, Stunfisk, Decidueye, Gardevoir, Alola Mola, Yanmega, Silvally, and Type Null. I just think it's super interesting that he has both Silvally and Type Null. I want to talk to him and ask him about that because I find that very interesting. But anywho, the reason that I picked the Clefables is that I really like the matchup for something like a Scarf Kyurem. That Scarf Ice Beam from Kyurem Black, is going to absolutely wreck on this team. Obviously, Skarmory resist and things like Weavile resist and Alola resist, but with Iron Head as well, maybe not a Choice Scarf set, but with Iron Head, this, and as well as a little bit of other coverage, that Kyurem Black can handle almost everything on the team, especially with its electric coverage. It can handle Skarmory. I don't know if it gets any coverage to handle Gallade. I think that's really the main problem, would be Gallade more than anything. So I really like Kyurem Black in this matchup, as well as, what's one thing that absolutely walls the shit out of Mega Gallade? Mega Gardevoir, which is also on the Carolina Clefables. So I just think even with those two Pokemon, they have such a good matchup that it is definitely possible to, win this game, especially coming off of a nice 5-0 victory. Things like Magnezone can get pretty free Volt switches off all over his team and kind of threaten that Alola as well. The Stunfisk is obviously a problem, but I don't know how often he brings Stunfisk. I've seen more and more people picking Stunfisk in League lately, and it's been a little bit confusing because I've never used it or known really what it does or what its purpose is. So anyway, we will go ahead and move on to our next one. I think I've said as much as I want to say about this game. So we are going into the Montreal Explouds versus the Adelaide Umbreons, with both Kyle and I picking the Adelaide Umbreons to win this week. These teams are both, I already see a mistake that I've made 100% for sure, because the Montreal Explouds should be at 0-1, -3 instead of 1-0. That's a classic mistake. But as you can see, the Umbreons are coming off of a win. I like their matchup. Let's go ahead and dive into the matchup real quick. We have, for the Explouds, Celesteela, Zygarde 50%, Florges, Mega Medicham, Roserade, Alolan Persian, Jellicent, Staraptor, Magmortar, Electrode, and Toxicroak. And the Umbreons have Salamence, Scizor, Clefable, Hitmontop, Nidoqueen, Porygon 2, Mega Slowbro, Chandelure, Sneasel, Electivire, and Cradilly. So I think that Clefable and Mega Slowbro are going to do a great job of walling Zygarde, as well as Mega Medicham. And that Celesteela is pretty easily taken care of by something like a Choice Scarf Chandelure, or Electivire can definitely give that thing problems. I think this is a very close game. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that this is one of those games that's very easy to pick at all. I think this game is a little bit closer than a lot of the other ones I've seen this week, definitely. But I do think I have to put my eggs in the Umbreon basket. I like the idea of having Salamence. Salamence gets great coverage to, like, if you have a good in-game plan in mind, like if you know, okay, I know he's bringing Celesteela and I know he's bringing, Roserade. I want to get rid of both of those. If I get rid of both of those, then I only need these 4 moves on Salamence. Prepping in that sort of situation could be very advantageous, because Salamence gets it's a very diverse move pool, and I actually don't have the Z users for each team, but I can only imagine looking at this team composition that Salamence is one of the Z users. So yeah, not much to say about that game either. I really think that the game is in the Umbreon's favor, but that is by no means a guarantee, because the Explouds have a lot of firepower to work with, and with smart play, smart switches, and smart setup, could easily whip this game around and take it just as easily as it could be taken from them. I anticipate this being a great match. So finally, we are going to look at our last game of the week, which is very exciting. I've been working all weekend, pretty much 10 a.m. to about midnight, or 1 a.m. every night from Thursday to now. So it's really nice to get done with that and actually do some Pokemon, man. I'm very excited. So these two teams have won, and I'm not sure. Looking at the teams, I definitely think I messed up some of these records, but we have both picked the that's another one, Automatic. please hit me up. Let me know how to pronounce your team name. I don't want to mispronounce all these names. I imagine it's super cool watching one of these videos and seeing someone talk about your team, and I want that moment to be beautiful for you. So please don't hesitate to tell me how I can pronounce these teams so that it could be like it is in your dreams. So we have both picked the Nijmej. I'm just gonna call them the Nuzleafs until I figure that out, because that is eluding me how I could possibly say that. The Nuzleafs versus the Montreal Monfernos. This is another match where I want to look at the matchup before we get into it. So we have the Nuzleaf with the Jirachi, Latios, Megapidgeot, Vaporeon, Blissey, Mandibuzz, Breloom, Salazzle, Gramble, Rhyperior, and Electabuzz. And the Monfernos have Mega Kangaskhan, Deoxys Speed, Dragonite, Alolan Muck, Dugtrio, Sylveon, Registeel, Delmise, Vikavolt, Mantine, and Pyroar. So I picked the Nuzleafs in this match because I think they just have a much better matchup. Like, if you look, Mega Kangaskhan can get worn down very easily by a Rocky Helmet Mon, which, if you look at things like Mandibuzz and Vaporeon, could easily take a Rocky Helmet and wear down that Mega Kangaskhan. Deoxys Speed is definitely scary, but with Defoggers and Latios and Mandibuzz, which are, in my opinion, two of the most reliable Defoggers in the draft format, the hazard stacking ability of Deoxys Speed is not as prevalent. He's got Blissey, which is a fantastic special wall option to wall Sylveon, as well as Vikavolt, and I guess Pyroar is a special attacker. I've actually never used that mon either, but his physical walls all do a great job of the Nuzleaf's physical walls all do a great job of walling the Monferno's physical options, and their special options just aren't anything to write home about if they're not actually that fantastic. So I really put this one heavily in the Nuzleafs' favor. I think they do take this game fairly easily, but we'll always see, man. Obviously, I said that the Dan would lose last week, and he came with the 5-0. Obviously, I was right about half my games last week, but I was also wrong about half my games last week. So that is going to do it, I guess, for Season 2. Well, I guess, I don't know. I feel like I should talk about that last one a little bit more. I didn't intend to rush it. But I guess I don't really have anything else to say. I really do just like the matchup in the Nuzleafs' favor. They've got a lot of good attacking options that cover a wide variety of the walls that you see on the Monfernos. Like, even Mons like Salazzle can absolutely decimate Sylveon, Registeel, Delmise, Vikavolt. Yeah, I mean, like, just that little group right there of just walls and support and special Pokemon, all absolutely obliterated by just one Pokemon on the team that is like the 8th or 9th Pokemon picked for his team. I don't know. I really like the odds in the Nuzleafs' favor, and I think they take the record to 2-0 this week. But that's gonna do it for our Week 2 Pickems. I really hope y'all enjoyed. And again, coaches, please do not hesitate to hit me up on the Discord. It's Ashley the Cat, and tell me how to pronounce your names, like phonetically. You can send me a video of you pronouncing the name, whatever you need to do so that I get this right. I want this to be cool for y'all, because it's really cool for me. I love doing it. Again, thanks to all of the APA staff for letting me come on and be an analyst. And yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed the video. Go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel to see everything that the APA has to offer. We do have our fantastic Game of the Week analyst, Kyle, as well as a new analyst who I will pull up his name on Discord while I stall and talk so that I don't forget what his name is, because he just got added as an analyst. He does, I think, power rankings. He streams them live every week. Elite Four Tom, there we go, sorry. Yeah, he streams power rankings every week, so make sure to check him out as well. Those go up on the channel. But oh well, I'm ranting and rambling. Y'all have a great day.